Real stories. Real people. Real business. This is Squad 915 Spotlights with Tony P.
It is time now for another Squad 915 Spotlight. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for pressing play. Be sure to check out our socials. Link tree is in the description. We're on Facebook, Instagram, X, you name it. We're on there. We're also on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and much more. But to keep it simple, just go to our link tree and click right there, and your preferred platform to follow us on is all right there. And we would highly encourage you to like, subscribe, follow us, because it does two things. Number one, it helps us to spread the word about Squad 915. And number two, it also tells the algorithm that we're doing a great job. Keep spreading it out to more and more people. So we would very much appreciate if you would like, subscribe, follow. You can also do that on our link tree directly as well. So do anything and everything you can to help spread the good word about Squad 915. We very much appreciate it. Today is going to be a very interesting yet exciting podcast because, number one, I actually happen to have my fiance here. Her name is Tanya Shoemate. You may have seen her at some of the live events we've been a part of, but today she's going to be joining me as a co-host on this very special podcast. Say hello, Tanya.
Hello.
And so she's going to be joining us. And today's special guest and today's special topic that we're going to talk about is veterinary medicine. That's right. We're going to be speaking to Shauntel Caballero, who is the association manager for the El Paso Veterinary Medical Association, or EPVMA. So please welcome Shauntel. How you doing, Shauntel?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Losing my breath here, but I'm doing well. Have a lot to talk about. Had a lot of intros there. Usually I'm just kind of going through the flow real quick and then just telling everybody about myself and introducing them. And then I got to introduce Tanya. So yeah, I'm a little winded right now, but once again, thank you very much for being on Squad 915 Spotlights. We very much appreciate it. And you and I have been talking for quite some time and kind of exchanging text and having conversations to bring this podcast finally to life. And today we are going to talk about not only the El Paso Veterinary Medical Association, but we're also going to talk about the annual banquet that happens on May 3rd, 6 p.m. at the Starlight Events Center. We're going to get more into that here in a little bit. But before we do, let's talk about you, Shauntel. So tell me about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Colorado, but I've been in El Paso for about, give or take, 15 years. So I guess you can kind of say I'm an El Pasoan now by the amount of time I've been here. I've worked in veterinary clinics for multiple years as a practice manager as well as a LVT. So I absolutely have a passion for the veterinary medical field in general. Moving into the position that I got an opportunity to serve was this last December. I was given the option and opportunity to be a part of the El Paso Medical Association. So I'm new in my role. I've only been in role since December, but it's a really cool opportunity to be back in the veterinary medicine world, but not necessarily in the hospital setting.
Okay. Yeah. So you've taken on the role at El Paso Veterinary Medical Association, which is a nonprofit, correct?
Yes. So we are a nonprofit organization. We technically, what our goal is we promote the veterinary profession as well as of the well-being of our veterinary professionals through communication, education, services. We're also an advocate for animal well-beings and policies, not just in El Paso, but the state of Texas. and the United States. And then, of course, we also support cross-organization animal programs that benefit the entire community, whether it's rehab, veterinary sales, like we have a El Paso supply store here. We support all of them as well because they're part of the community.
Yeah, and you were saying that you had joined EPVMA a few months ago, hoping that you're getting well comfortable in your new role as the association's manager. And the reason why you came on this podcast was, number one, to talk about EPVMA, but also to talk about the annual banquet that is happening on May 3rd at 6 p.m. at the Starlight Event Center. We're going to get into that here in just a few minutes. But before we do, wanted to tell you the reason why we actually brought my co-host and fiance, Tanya. She is also in the medical field as well. So before we actually continue our conversation, I figured we should probably let Tanya talk about herself and get to know her a little bit. So tell us some more about yourself.
I've only been in the veterinary medicine field for about 2.5 years now. I decided at 38 years old to go ahead and change careers. I went from retail. As you know, you actually inspired me to apply to I went to Pima for the vet tech program. So just under 2 years, I was licensed.
Yep. And this all kind of started with a project that when you were in Pima, you decided to do something a little bit different from one of your classes. We busted out the old equipment that I had in my previous podcasting days. And that's kind of what sparked this whole thing to start. From there, it turned into the 3D print business. And then from there, it also turned into Squad 915. So here we are.
Now we do podcasting.
Correct.
Mostly you, but you know.
Mostly me, yes. But the reason why we're all together is because with Tanya being in the medical field, Shauntel being in the veterinary medical field, I should clarify that,
yes.
Both in the veterinary medical fields, I felt like it was important for them two to get together to talk about the banquet and to also talk about EPVMA, because Tanya is also a member of EPVMA. Shauntel is the association's manager for EPVMA, but together they have been coordinating with a committee,
Yes.
a banquet committee for the annual banquet. So before we get into the banquet, let's continue to talk about EPVMA. Do you want to add anything, Tanya?
It's a great tool that's out there to help promote the community togetherness. A lot of people don't realize that the PVMA is there and that there's a lot of members of it. And the goal of this is to let the community know and let the other members of the veterinary medical field know that, hey, they're there and we want to bring that togetherness with the community.
Yeah. The members of EPVMA are veterinarians, the licensed vet techs.
Correct.
And that's kind of what makes up the organization as a whole.
Practice managers as well.
Oh, and practice managers. Excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have all of these veterinary professionals that come together once every 3 months and talk about current topics around the city, the state, nationwide, so on and so forth. And Shauntel, tell us what it is you do on a day-to-day basis being the association's manager for EPVMA.
Ooh, that's a big workload. So I'll kind of break it down in small pieces. But essentially, I'm going to be the face of EPVMA. So if there is a clinic that needs something, whether they're looking for a specific, maybe specialized veterinarian in El Paso or close nearby, so that they can recommend a pet parent to go and get the proper treatment from a specialized veterinarian, they'd reach out to me. I'm also the person that delegates and runs and assists in every committee breakdown of EPVMA. So you brought up the fact that we have a banquet committee, right? That is kind of off of EPVMA, of course. So we have people that are active members and part of the executive committee that are in that committee. And then we have a continued education committee. We have a public social media committee. So there's a lot of different committees that I'm a part of as well. But essentially, I am the person that also deals with animal services. We also deal with the borderland welfare. And that's something that I go to as well, so that I can make sure that I'm articulating and communicating all of the updated processes, procedures with El Paso. But it's also my responsibility to make sure that the veterinarians feel supported. So, I go to the clinics. I try to make it a goal of going to 2 to 4 clinics a week. And that's just essentially to sit down, communicate with the veterinarians, the practice managers, the techs, even the receptionist, see if there's anything they need from me, whether it's questions on, like I said, policies with the city, if they just want to vent. It's great because I came from that world. So I know the technology, I know how stressful it can be. I know the whole world, right, when it comes to veterinary medicine. So it's a lot entailed, but essentially I am going to be the go-to person for anybody who needs anything from the association.
Okay. For somebody who has never even heard of EPVMA, can you describe the hierarchy of the nonprofit organization?
Absolutely. So EPVMA has kind of like I guess you would say, a pyramid structure. We are led by what is called the executive committee. So when you look at the structure of how we are established, or the members, right, you're going to have a whole bunch of association managers, practice managers, techs, and DVMs, like we discussed, that are active members, but they're led by the executive officers. So it starts from the head, which would be your president, and then we have the president-elect, which of course would be the president for the next elected year. We have a treasurer, a secretary. We also have a TVMA representative. So what TVMA is it's the Texas Veterinary Medical Association. So we have, the El Paso Veterinary Medical Association, but Texas and every state has their own as well. So we always make sure that one of our executive committee members are TVMA representatives. We also have senior at large members, junior at large members, and then we always have the immediate past president in the committee as well. And then, of course, myself. So me as an association manager, I don't necessarily have voting capability when it comes to the executive committee. All of the other side committees I do, but I am always there with the executive committee whenever we meet.
Understood. Okay. And so pretty much most, if not all, but most of the clinics and anything associated with the veterinary medicine here in El Paso is some way connected to EPVMA, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So our website is really cool. If you guys ever want to go to epvma.org, the structure will show on there. But we have veterinarians from all walk of life. For example, we've got our president-elect, so that's going to be our next president for EPVMA. That's Dr. Priscilla Bowens. She's actually also a lawyer. So she
Yes.
not only actively practices law, but she actively practices as a DVM.
Mm-hmm.
All
I don't know
kinds
how
of
she has
walks
time
of
for
life.
anything.
Yeah, I don't know either. That woman, she's a godsend.
Yeah, she's
She's
amazing.
absolutely very knowledgeable, amazing, and a very kind woman.
Mhm.
But that's the scope. We have such a wide scope range of different people, and not just the executive committee branch of EPVMA, but as association members total as well.
You know, it's funny because we're talking about Dr. Bowens, plural, because there's two of them. Tanya, you're on the neurological team at the 24-hour hospital, emergency animal hospital on Airway, and you work under Dr. Bowens, the husband.
Yes, Dr. Antonio Bowens.
Yeah. And so they came from Dallas. They came here, planted roots in El Paso, and now you're a part of the neurological team at your job, and you work with Dr. Bowens pretty much 3 to 4 days a week.
Yes, and work with his lovely wife when she comes and helps out there too.
Yeah.
So-
So it's very connected. It's a very small community here in El Paso of veterinary professionals, and y'all just seem to kind of know each other.
Yes, it's definitely a small world.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. And with Dr. Bowens, the wife, going to be the new president of EPVMA. Shauntel, are you excited about working with her?
I mean, absolutely. She is part of the banquet committee, and she's part of our continued education. And then, of course, she's still at the executive committee meetings. But I'm excited for her to be president. But I want to make it clear, I absolutely adore our current president, Dr. Julie Case. She's been fantastic, especially with my onboarding. But the past president-elect who onboarded me right in the middle of this transition, Dr. Helen Vega, which she works at Pima, so I'm not sure if she actually was the one who taught you, Tanya, but she was amazing too. When it comes down to it, just to be, clear, it is such a great community. It doesn't matter who is involved or, who the president is or who the treasurer is. It's just everyone is so active and passionate that it doesn't matter who's in it in one level because you're going to get support no matter what.
Absolutely. And yes, Dr. Vega was my teacher. So I had her my entire 2 years there.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but I think one of the main questions when there's people that are listening to this podcast, I think that a lot of people are probably saying to themselves, okay, well, you have the veterinary community, you have EPVMA, but then you also have El Paso Animal Services. And so when you and I were talking last week, Shauntel, you were telling me you're kind of the conduit between El Paso Animal Services and the veterinary community, particularly EPVMA. Can you talk about that?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things I brought up when you first asked about it is our mission, right? So one of our missions is to support cross-organization animal programs that benefit the entire community. And what we mean by that is not just the DVMs or the veterinary clinics. So we work side by side with El Paso Animal Services, right? And whenever we have pet parents who go to get rabies vaccines, the city mandates that they now have what's called a city license. It's very important and imperative that pet parents have these licenses because it helps utilize contact information because unfortunately in El Paso, Animal Services averages 23,000 intake animals a year. So when you think about that huge statistic number that keeps rising, the city tags are so important because we want to try to get those animals back into their homes and not potentially given to somebody else because El Paso Animal Services has done so much to prevent any type of they're preventing being a kill shelter, so they're now a non-kill shelter, right? But some of these animals will get shipped out to random states, and we want to prevent that by having these city tags. So something that EPVMA does with El Paso Animal Services is we help with that. We make sure that all of our active members are aware of the mandate and that they are consistently offering this city license to all of their pet parents when they're getting the rabies vaccine. So I will be distributing the tags. There's a lot of times where, you'll see my face come into a clinic to get the tags. And part of the benefit of that is EPVMA, we do get some of the funding from the city and we utilize that to educate the community. So if anyone is listening and you guys aren't actually veterinarians, this does pertain to you because we do actively promote commercials, whether it's about, and they're always different topics, whether it's about vaccinating, poison control, training, dog training, diet restrictions, or proper, weight management, anything like that. We promote that stuff consistently because we want to make sure that we're hand in hand with what El Paso Animal Services wants, which is what we want every animal to live a beautiful long life with their original pet parent. So as well as doing that with animal services, we also allow our active clinics that have active DVMs to help assist animal services in their spay and neuters. So if anyone listening has ever adopted from animal services, you guys know that the adoptions are free, which is great, right? But somebody has to pay for the spay, neuter, and vaccines. So Animal Services actually gives funding to these veterinary clinics to help subsidize those spay and neuters, because right now they only have 2 veterinarians on staff at the actual shelter, which there's no way 2 veterinarians would be able to spay and neuter 23,000 pets every year.
It sounds like a lot going on. And like you said, it's all about education and it's all about awareness to make sure that the public knows what the services and the partnerships that EPVMA has with the city of El Paso, particularly Animal Services. And I think you kind of bridge that really well, Shauntel, as to kind of allowing people to get a picture in their head as to how you all work hand in hand. But EPVMA's footprint goes even further because you actually also work with a lot of the other nonprofit animal services here in El Paso. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So because we're part of the Borderland Welfare, we do 3 to 4 meetings a year where all of the shelters come in, all of the rehab centers come in, and we all really try to make sure that our goal is, right, at the end of the day, we want to save lives. So we really try to incorporate that, but EPVMA in general has helped. We've donated money and time to the Humane Society. We've donated and we've also been assisting in adoption events, especially last year. So there's a lot of different things that EPVMA does. It's not just with El Paso Animal Services. There's a lot of funding, time, money, effort that we all try to do to help utilize and assist all of the accredited nonprofit shelter organizations here in El Paso so that we can save all of those pets.
Yeah. And I think in addition to the nonprofits, along with the veterinary community itself, I've also seen, and of course, I've gone to Tanya's job many times. I've also seen that y'all help out with the law enforcement community as well. Do you want to talk about that, Tanya?
We see a lot of the canines that are with Border Patrol and the El Paso Police when something happens to them. We see a lot on the neurological side. So with Dr. Bowens being a neurologist, if a dog has back pain or any complications with like walking and jumping, like they notice it, they'll bring them into us. We either perform a CT or an MRI and see what we can do if the dog has something that needs help, if we're able to help them.
Yeah. So you can see that the footprint is so vast between the veterinary community, EPVMA, and now we're going to transition into the actual banquet because it's that once a year opportunity for everybody in the entire El Paso veterinary community to come together, not only to hang out, have a night of fun, have some dinner, and to just mingle, but also there's an opportunity to give that recognition. So which one of you guys is going to want to talk about the banquet first?
Does not matter.
So
Go ahead, Shauntel.
I guess I will base the structure of what the banquet is, and then I think I would love to hear Tanya's insight as to attending a banquet, because it's been over a decade since I got to actually attend one as a practice manager when I was still in the vet medicine world. So a little bit about the actual banquet. It's an award banquet. So our mission is threefold when it comes to what the banquet does. We're there to honor individuals, organizations, companies, anyone that has made a significant contribution to animal health, welfare, and education in our community. And then the second thing is to foster camaraderie. Oh my gosh, I can't say that word very well, but I think you guys get the gist. Among all
Camaraderie, we got it.
animal-related, yes, thank you. Among all animal-related businesses. So this could be corporations, it could be small mom and pop shops, grooming salons, but any of those type of animal-related businesses in El Paso and the surrounding areas. And when I say surrounding areas, it can be Canadillo, it can be sometimes Las Cruces, those type of areas when it comes to the banquet. And then the third thing is to provide a really great, unforgettable evening of celebration. So we're here to honor these people, right? But we're also here to have an evening of celebration, like we said, because we're here for the community. This is something that's really cool. This year is actually the 40th annual banquet. So this is something that's been in inception since 1985. We've had a lot of different recognition when it comes to the banquet with, different city people. We have different state politicians that come. We have Texas Tech that comes. We have all kinds of different universities that have DVM programs come because they're here to advocate for everyone in our community.
Very well said. Tanya, you were a part of, you and Shauntel were a part of the planning committee, the banquet committee is what you all call it. Do you want to talk about what you guys did in those meetings?
We kind of all came together and wanted to collaborate to find out, do we remember what happened last year? What was good? What was bad? So we're coming up with ways to kind of change things so we can remember rather than try to remember 6 months later, hey, what did we do? But we are coming together to find out, okay, did the food work? Did the location work? Do we need to change something? What were the negatives that you remember? Like, what were your coworkers or other people that attended saying after the banquet? So we're coming up with ideas on, okay, what do we want the entertainment to be this year? What kind of food do we want? What kind of the bar menu for drinks? Was the setup good? And did everybody seem to enjoy that aspect of it? What needs to change?
Gotcha. Shauntel, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, you missed the most important part, the awards.
Yes.
We also, we all, as a committee, we all come with our suggestions of who the award winners are going to be because, like I said, it's an award banquet, right? So I am not going to tell you any of the award winners because that's a surprise. So,
Man.
but we do, we do have some really great award recipients this year. But that is something that we do. We research some of these great communities. So maybe Tanya can tell you the past, like last year, who was recognized as award winners because there's really cool opportunity. These award winners usually get funding to utilize for donation for their nonprofit organization. They get plaques sometimes. And I believe, Tanya, you might have to speak more to this, but I believe they also do plaques for the El Paso Zoo for some of the award winners. So it's a really cool opportunity, and that's something that we also come together with at the beginning of the year so that we can vote on who we feel had the most impact for that year.
Yeah, I'm unsure on the plaques. Since this is my first time as part of like any of the committees, that's kind of this year's how in-depth I've been as far as the back house of it. But at the actual banquet itself, I know not last year, year before, Laws and Paws came in and they received an award. Last year we had 2 dogs. Oh, they were actually there. They were super cute. I don't remember their names, but it was just really fun to be able to see them and hear their stories of what they did in the community and how they've helped, and just to witness the handlers or the owners of the companies and stuff and the amazing things that they've done, and they receive that recognition that it's so deserved, so well deserved.
Hey, Shauntel, what is the criteria for the nominees to receive the awards during the annual banquet?
So we always acknowledge the past president of EPVMA because that is such a strenuous, I'm going to say job, but title, right? You have to remember all of the executive committee members or even the side committee members like me and Tanya, right? They're volunteering their time. So all these people are working full-time jobs, saving animals' lives, and then they still volunteer their time for this. So we always have an award winner for that. But there's different categories. So we all try to find at least 1 or 2 candidates from each category. And then we're not going to acknowledge all of them in one banquet. So they usually choose 3 to 4 categories for that one specific banquet.
I have the list of them. Special
Yes,
recognition, community involvement, veterinary legend of the Southwest, and animal hall of fame.
The Animal Hall of Fame is the one that actually, if anybody ever goes to the El Paso Zoo,
Yes.
those are the big plaques that are at the El Paso Zoo, and those are all from EPVMA Banquet Awards.
Okay, cool. Paint us a picture, one of you, because I went to one. I went a little bit last year after all the awards and dinner and everything, and I was there for the festivities. But paint a picture for us as to those who are going to go to this banquet, but those who may never get an opportunity to go to the banquet. Shauntel, let's start with you.
Well, so I'll start from when I went, right? It's such a cool opportunity to be able to go in. A lot of times this is a dressed up event. You know, people come sometimes in ball gowns or cocktail dresses. So it's very fancy. So it gives these people an opportunity to not be in scrubs, number one.
Absolutely. You can let your hair down.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So that's the first thing. And then we have this beautiful meal with a great dinner, dessert. Tanya, tell me, I don't remember if it's a 3-course meal, but we eat this beautiful meal while we watch the presentation of the award winners. And, you know, we go over specific stuff that EPVMA did for the year. And then after we do the award ceremony, that's when the fun starts. So, you know, they have casino tables set up all over the banquet floor where you can play, what is it? Blackjack, poker.
Don't forget that
What else?
craps table.
Yes, the craps
I was
table.
going to say craps.
I think there's
but-
roulette too.
Yes, and roulette. Thank you. And the really cool thing is EPVMA has this fake EPVMA money, right? So you're not utilizing real money when you play, but we have real giveaway prizes that you can win. And Tanya, I believe she won a great gift last year.
I did. I won a $500 Southwest gift card,
which we used towards going to the veterinary show in Vegas so Tanya can do her CE courses there.
Yep.
See, it's such a cool opportunity. And Tanya, you didn't have to spend any money for that, right? I mean, you used the
$9.
The EPVMA Monopoly money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Did not spend any money to get that.
Yeah. So people are going to show up. They're going to go to the Starlight Event Center. They're going to go upstairs to the ballroom. They're going to walk in. Tanya, what are people going to see when they come off the elevator?
When you come off the elevator, you're going to see our reception tables where you're going to turn in your tickets. That's where you're going to probably get the raffle ticket for the lovely door prizes that we'll have. There will be a signage up to kind of give you can kind of try and find your table because it's usually based by clinic. And then you'll walk into the banquet area, the actual ballroom. You'll see all the tables set up and there'll be numbers on the tables so you can go find your seat. And if you get there early, you can face the stage so you're not trying to turn around to watch the award ceremony. And then after that, again, the fun starts. And this year is going to be casino night as well.
Yeah, so everybody kind of comes in. They kind of go through the hall, get themselves assigned. They go and get their drinks because there is the cash bar. Is it a cash bar? So they go and get their drinks. They come sit down. They're waiting. They start the dinner service. And during the dinner service is when the actual awards begin. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then after that, pretty much runs that whole time while you're eating dinner. And then after that, that's when really the fun begins. Tanya, what is this year's theme?
This year's theme is casino night. Again, we're going to have, last year we only had 10 casino tables. So this year we opted to have 15 casino tables, and we're not going to have a DJ with a dance floor. There was some issues with the dance floor last year, so we're not going to have that, but we are going to have a amazing photographer that is going to be on the opposite side of where we're going to sit down to eat dinner. She's going to be set up, and she's going to have the photo booth set up for us where we can take pictures, and you get them digitally, if I remember correct.
Okay. Anything you want to add, Shauntel?
We are doing casino night, but our actual theme of the evening is a lifetime of love.
Yes.
We're doing that to celebrate National Pet Week. And Tanya said everything beautifully. And the really cool thing I wanted to call out with, we are going to have a photo drop area with the background and everything that was actually donated by this amazing woman who owns a company called First Flash. It's a photo, she calls it a photo booth boutique or booth-tique. But she is volunteering her time and all of her supplies to come with us. And yes, from what I understand, the pictures will be downloaded automatically digitally, but I also think she may be printing them.
Ooh.
This is the first time we've used them, so I'm not sure. But she has got an amazing following on Instagram, and she reached out to us and offered her services for free.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's very good to know that some folks that particularly have their own small businesses are willing to step up and say, you know what, go ahead and enjoy our equipment, enjoy a part of our business for your night. It's our way of giving back to you and thanking you for all the great things you all do in the veterinary community. Now, Shauntel, or one of you, because you're both a part of the banquet committee, what kind of prizes can people expect to possibly win?
You'll have to come and find out.
Oh, it's a
I
secret.
was just going to
Yeah.
say that. We don't want to give away the
No.
good stuff, but there is some
Yeah.
good stuff. So
There absolutely
you got to
is.
come find out.
Oh, I thought I was going to try to get it out of you, but apparently I failed. But but no, it sounds like a great night. I've been to one, and as I said last year, I was on the kind of the tail end, and it's a very nice event. Everybody's well dressed. Everybody's there to cut loose, have a little fun, and just enjoy each other. There's also a great opportunity for some networking opportunities. Shauntel, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Bringing up the donor of the boutique, we also have sponsors. So there's going to be sponsors there that can discuss anything from items that you might need in the vet clinic to, cheaper opportunities for credit card processing. But it's also networking for the clinics. I mean, these something that is very passionate for me. These veterinarians work very hard. I mean, these people have a crazy schedule, and this gives them an opportunity to possibly find another veterinarian who might potentially want to do relief. So if somebody wants to, you know, go on vacation, especially for the vets who own their own clinic, it's very hard for them to leave because they don't have somebody to run their clinic when they're gone. So networking is in so many different forms, whether it's the donors who donated items who might be there, or sponsors who donated actual money to help us make this banquet what it is, but also just networking amongst each other. There is so much opportunity here. And then, great call out would be, Tony, you've attended, right? So it's not just for the DVMs, it's for their significant others, and there are children that come. And, someone like Tony per se could even network there. So if he's sitting at the table and there's a veterinary clinic who might potentially want to do a podcast, boom, Tony can network. So it's an opportunity not just for, the active members, but their significant others or family members that might be attending as well.
Yeah, and it's actually an opportunity for me to connect with some of my old friends because there's a couple of friends from high school that actually work in the veterinary field. I can't remember specifically what clinic she works at. I think it's at Country Club, but we're always missing each other. The first time I went there, she didn't go. Last year, I didn't go until the last bit. She was already gone. So it's an opportunity for me to kind of meet some old friends back from the high school days. So it's a really nice, elegant, very casual, but yet gives everybody the opportunity to kind of dress up real nice, get out of those scrubs, like you said, meet each other, have a good time, and just pay special recognition to not only to the veterinary community as a whole, but also to those organizations, those law enforcement agencies that all come together as a community in El Paso to just have that night of fun, get to know each other, and like I said, get that special recognition. So as we start to close out this podcast, Tanya, you want to add any final thoughts?
No, I think it's a fun night that we get to recognize amazing people and community businesses and nonprofits, and we just get to recognize them, but then we also get to socialize and enjoy and be out of the workplace and get to relax a little bit and just have that
Yes.
socialization with other people that need it. So like if you need to vent, you can vent, but then you can still laugh with the person and have a drink with the person, because our work schedules don't always allow us to just go out and hang out with our coworkers.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's just a fun night of letting loose and enjoying the entire community.
Shauntel, any final thoughts?
I mean, everything Tanya said was hitting the nail on the head. These people work so hard, and a lot of these, people are friends, but they might not be at the same clinic, and it's so hard and brutal out there with their hours. This might be the only opportunity that they have to be together in person. And keep in mind, I mean, this isn't just for vet clinics. This is anybody who's passionate about animals who might want to be a part of this evening. So, keep that in mind. Tickets are on sale until the end of this Saturday. So if anybody needs a ticket, definitely call me. I can put my phone number out there if anyone's interested. It's going to be 915-996-7091. Please reach out to me if anyone has questions, regarding tickets and the banquet in general.
Okay. Can you give the address as to, I think most of us know where the Starlight is, but just in case, Shauntel, do you have the address on you?
I absolutely do. So it's again at the Starlight Event Center, and the address is 6650 Continental Drive. And then that's, of course, El Paso 79925.
Yes, and they have a parking structure. So if you've never been to Starlight, you go into the parking structure, you drive and park up there. There's the elevators will take you right to the very top. You go through there, and the rest is pretty self-explanatory because that's just one big giant banquet event up there. You can't miss it. And Shauntel, if anybody wants to reach out to you and EPVMA, can you give out that contact information?
Yes. So same phone number I provided earlier. I'm going to provide it one more time, and then I'll give my email. The phone number for EPVMA in general is going to be my contact information, because, again, I'm going to delegate whoever you need. It's going to be 915-996-7091. You can also directly email me at director@epvma.org. And then if you guys ever have questions, or you want to know more about EPVMA, you want to know the active veterinary clinics here in El Paso, that's all on our website. And our website is epvma.org. Very simple. Keep your eyes open on our social media. We have, Instagram, we have Facebook, we have X, we've got Threads. We've got all kinds of different social media. So if you need anything, please feel free to reach out to us there as well. But we are here not just for the veterinary world. We're here for the El Paso community as well.
Awesome. And we will put all the information in the description, so don't have to worry about pulling over or pulling into the parking lot. Everything's going to be there. It's just going to be as simple as clicking the link to go there. Of course, not the phone number, but the phone number will be in there as well. Shauntel, do you have any final words?
No, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you guys. I really hope that the community starts to understand and see what EPVMA does for not just our amazing veterinarians who serve their fur babies, but also for the El Paso community, and all of that goes into the banquet or EPVMA or any of the other things that EPVMA does. There's so many behind the scenes things that people don't realize that we do, but we are here.
Very, very cool. Tanya, any final thoughts?
Shauntel said it all amazingly. I would say that we'll have the link tree in the description, and that will have the link to all of the EPVMA, the website, all of the social medias and everything.
Yes, actually, that's going to be an even more simplified version. We'll just put the link tree in there, and that'll link to everything else except for Shauntel's number, which we'll put that directly in there. But once again, thank you both for joining us on this very special Squad 915 Spotlight. And thank you very much for being a part of this Squad 915 Business Spotlight. Be sure to check out our socials, link trees in the description. Please like, subscribe, follow us on whatever platform that you wish to follow us on, or follow us on all of them. You can very much subscribe directly on our link tree because we do a lot of podcasts, we go to a lot of events, and we're also doing a lot of live streaming video events as well. So once again, go to our link tree, check it all out, follow us, and be a part of the Squad 915 community with us. So once again, thank you very much for listening to this episode of Squad 915 Spotlights, and we will talk to you again next time.